Hey everybody, I'm Rob Freeman, and today we're talking about the 4 factors that can affect your commercial property insurance costs. And there are 4 factors that have been used for around 300 years by insurance underwriters to determine what your premiums are for your commercial property insurance. And so we're going to quickly go through these 4 factors, and you can remember them in a simple acronym called COPE, C-O-P-E, which stands for Construction, Occupancy, Protection, and Exposure. And we're just going to quickly go through these, but then below this video I go through more detail about what determines what you pay within these 4 factors. So let's start with this COPE acronym. The first is construction. Construction really comes down to the building materials that your building is made from, and also the size of your building and the age of your building. So the building materials, it has to do with the flammability or the combustibility of the building and also the durability of the building. So if your building is made from flammable materials like wood frame construction, so you have 4 walls and a roof and floors that are all made of wood and they're all flammable, you're going to pay more for property insurance than you would if your building had 4 walls and a roof and floor that was made of masonry or stone or some sort of stone or steel or a combination of non-combustible materials like that. And the second aspect of the C in the COPE acronym within this aspect is the size of your building. The larger your building is, the more you're going to pay for the property insurance, and also the age of your building. Like, when was the last time your building was updated? Is it a 100-year-old building and it's never had the electrical or other major mechanical systems updated? If that's the case, you're going to pay more for your property insurance than you would if you had a newer building with newer mechanical systems that was all up to code. And yeah, so those are important factors for the first part of the acronym C for construction. The second part is occupancy. And occupancy has to do with really your operations within the building. What are you doing? And then what are you doing to manage the hazards within those operations? So, for instance, if you have an office building that really doesn't have a lot going on, and people are just sitting behind desks or in meeting rooms and doing their sort of knowledge work, however you want to call it, and there's not a lot of risk there, you'll pay less for your property insurance than you would if you had, say, an auto body shop or a manufacturing facility. Where there was a lot going on, maybe a type of operation where you have chemicals stored or you're using flammable materials in the process, in the course of your operations. You're going to pay more for those operations than you would for say, an office building or a school or something like that. So that's the O. The third is P for protection. And protection really has to do with the types of alarms or security systems that you have within the building. Like, do you have a fire alarm? Do you have a burglar alarm? Do you have fire extinguishers? Do you have a sprinkler system? What are the protections that you have within the building that are going to protect the building in the event that something goes wrong? Like, are you in an area with a really renowned fire department, like a highly rated fire department that has a good rating from the insurance commissioner in your state? These are all factors that the insurance writers will look at. And so then the fourth thing is exposure. And this one you don't sort of have the least control over, but your exposure really comes down to your geographic location, what your building is near. Are you near a wildfire zone? Are you near are you on the coast? Are you in a high wind zone or a flood zone? Or is your building near another building? Say you have a low risk building, say not, your operations are low risk, but your building is located next to something that would be considered high risk, then you're going to pay more for property insurance than you would if it was not next to that high hazard building, or if you weren't in a high hazard area. So those are the four things: COPE, construction, occupancy, protection, and exposure. Those are the four factors that can affect your property insurance costs. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions about your property insurance, or you think that there's something going wrong with your property insurance, it's not being factored correctly, or you're paying too much for it, schedule an appointment with me. I would love to connect with you. And again, below the video is more information. Thanks again. I hope this has been helpful, and have a great day.